It's a pattern of behavior. You're lazy. You're unprofessional, unfocused.
Sorry, what?
Respect is not given, it is earned. A phrase that has existed for countless years and will continue for countless more. Because it is absolutely true, and it is something that Batman believes in wholeheartedly. He doesn't trust anyone completely, and he respects only a select few. Not even all of the Justice League truly has his respect, but we are going to look at a few who have managed to earn his respect and how they did it. Some of whom started out with Batman downright hating them. Booster Gold. Now, Booster Gold has always been a joke, in the comics, in the shows he's in, and just in the DC Justice League universes in general. He's basically just a screw-up who's always looking to make a quick buck, such as the time he brought dinosaurs through time and put them on an island after watching Jurassic Park, because he thought it would make a lot of money, and he didn't bother to watch the film all the way through.
In the future, we've evolved into having super short attention spans. I only made it through the first 10 minutes. What a slog. Why?
And Booster only became a hero to get glory and money, not to save or even help anyone. And as such, no one in the hero community has any respect for him. In fact, most of them treat him with outright contempt, as they think he's a fake who actually cheapens their profession. Everyone, that is, except for Batman, who is the only one who knows the truth. Now, while Booster may have started out as someone who was in it to just try and make easy money, he became one of the greatest heroes of all time, and time is what he protects. He makes sure the time stream is safe from threats that could wipe out humanity and even the entire universe. But this is something no one knows, which is actually quite common with time heroes. After all, if people know who they are, then one of their enemies could just travel in time and kill them when they were just a baby. So they have to keep their heroics a secret, or they have to keep their identity secret. And since Booster has been very prolific and very public about who he is, he has to keep his exploits a secret. And so Booster keeps up the persona of being a fake hero so that no one works out the truth and kills him. It's basically the time traveler equivalent of a secret identity. But Batman is the world's greatest detective, and so he figures it out. He naturally keeps the secret, and he becomes the first hero who truly respects Booster. In fact, it's pretty safe to say that Batman is the only superhero who actually respects Booster, which is really saying something, because Batman is one of the best judges of character that the Justice League has. Although I should mention that in some versions, such as the Justice League action show, Batman does work out the truth, but he also loses the memories of this, thanks to the whole timey-wiminess of time travel.
I was wrong about you. You're a better person than anybody gives you credit for. Maybe one day I'll find that out. Not once. Repeatedly. It's a pattern of behavior. You're lazy. You're unprofessional, unfocused. Booster, you're the worst crime fighter I've ever known.
Plastic Man. In an episode of Batman the Brave and the Bold, we are introduced to Plastic Man and we learn his origin. We find out that his name is Eel O'Brien and that he was once a henchman of Kite Man, and they were on a job once when Batman busted it up. And O'Brien could have actually escaped justice as Batman was busy, but his greed made him stop, and it led to him falling into a vat of chemicals, which is of course the most classic way there is to get superpowers. And so his body became like plastic, or rather a really durable silly putty that could be moulded into almost any shape and makes him almost invincible. And Batman always saw a potential in him, even though there was not really any evidence for it. He even testified at his parole hearing and took responsibility for him in his rehabilitation. And he basically just sponsors him as a hero. And though Plastic Man is still silly and greedy, and he even tries to steal money at first, but Batman doesn't give up on him, and after some guidance, he even grows enough to rescue Batman and to actually hand over all of the stolen cash, instead of keeping a little something for himself. And it's made clear that although Batman saw potential in him, he did not truly respect him. I mean, he was a henchman, and an incompetent one at that.
There are no happy endings to a life of crime, O'Brien. You made your choice, and it's up to you to make the best of it.
But like I say, Batman still thought there was potential, and as he trained him in the field, he saw Plastic Man grow as a person. And although Batman doesn't outright say he respects him, it's made very clear in his actions by the end of the episode that he does, mainly in the way that he trusts him not to steal anything for himself anymore.
Look, I rounded up every last jewel. You want to count them?
No. I trust you.
Blue Beetle. Now, Batman is infamous on being hard on new and young heroes, but he does this because he cares.
When I first joined the League, all he did was boss me around, and it's hard not to take it personally. But I never disobeyed an order, and that's probably what kept me alive.
he knows firsthand what it is like for a young hero's life to be lost, and he wants to make sure that it doesn't happen again. So he is hard on them in order to make them stronger. And the young Jaime Reyes was no exception to this. In the show Justice League Action, Batman gives him just as hard a time as he gives everyone who is young. But one day they go on a mission together that ends up with them going back into the past and seeing a young Batman fighting crime. And Batman is reminded that, just like the young heroes, he too was once a green recruit. And this helps him see Blue Beetle in a different light, and he cuts him some slack. And then, when Blue Beetle saves the day, and incidentally Batman's life, he finally earns Batman's respect.
You did a good job.
Did he just say good job?
I've never heard him say that before, and I've saved his life twice.
And along the way, his armor makes a recording of a truly awesome Batman moment.
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.
The Flash. In the film Justice League War, we see the origin of the New 52 Universe's Justice League. And most of these heroes are meeting each other for the first time, and they don't actually know much about each other, which is why in the beginning Green Lantern is trying to arrest Batman as he thinks he's a criminal. But of course he fails to beat Batman and then realises that he's actually a hero. So they team up and later meet the Flash, whom Green Lantern already knows, but Batman is meeting for the first time. And the Flash is the only hero out of the Justice League that Batman meets and then greets with genuine respect.
I followed your efforts in Central City, Flash. You do tight, efficient work.
And it kind of makes sense given that they're the only real detectives and forensic scientists on the team. But I think it's safe to say that this is by far the most respectful thing that Batman says to anyone in all of the New 52 films. And when Batman gives you a compliment, it's genuine, because he doesn't care enough to lie to you. And of course he's investigated everyone who ended up in the League way before this. And since he goes really in depth with his research, this means he must actually be impressed by the work that the Flash has done. And it's actually quite a sweet moment as well, even if Green Lantern is a little bit jealous.
Hey, Barry, you got a little something on your nose.
Superman. Now there is probably no one in the DC universe who does not respect Superman, and I include the villains in that. Not just because of his godlike abilities, but because he is able to inspire so much hope around the world, and around the universe in some cases. And all of that comes from him simply using his abilities in a mature and responsible way. As in, he uses them to help others instead of just helping himself, which he very easily could do. And let's be honest here, there are not very many people who would be that selfless. Which is exactly the point that's being made in the Boys comic and in the show. Absolute power leads to absolute corruption. It's in the Bible, and it's always been true since the days of Jesus. And yet Superman was able to prove it false, as he was able to use that absolute power for the greater good. And what I really love about this one is that Superman has earned Batman's respect simply by being alive and living a normal life. He could do whatever he wants. He could conquer this world, enslave its people, or even conquer the entire universe. Or he could simply just do whatever he wants, living like a king, without bothering to conquer anything. His powers mean that he does not have to suffer consequences for his actions. And of course they also mean that anything is possible. Anything he wants he can have, and anything he wants to do he can do. And that is a very powerful temptation for anyone. But he resists it. He doesn't abuse his power, and he respects humanity. And simply by not being a bad guy, he's proving to Batman that he's a decent person. And that in turn is why Batman respects him, and indeed why all heroes respect him. He is able to walk away from the power, and very, very few people are able to do that. Batman has even admitted that he wouldn't be able to do it, which really goes to show just how much respect he has for Superman.
Despite our differences, I have nothing but respect for you. You showed me that justice doesn't always have to come from the darkness.
And those are a few of the heroes who have managed to truly earn Batman's respect. Now obviously he doesn't respect all of them equally, you're always going to respect some more than others. I mean, he is still Batman after all. But he does still value them as both people and heroes who have integrity. And he knows that they can be both trusted and counted on when they're needed on a superhero mission. Now of course there are obviously others that he respects, and you can feel free to mention these in the comments, along with how they managed to earn Batman's respect of course. And I'd just like to quickly remind everyone that we have some merchandise available on our store, and to say thanks to all of you who have donated to the Needle Mouse Productions page on Patreon. And as always, thanks for watching, and feel free to subscribe, share, like, and comment.